Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku, back with another video, and I'm going to be talking about the New Orleans Saints fans are suing the NFL for the blatant missed pass interference and helmet-to-helmet penalty that was not called. If you can see the image right now, I actually got an image from a screenshot from someone who screenshot the video of the referee clearly glaring at the Saints player getting hit. Now I want to just talk about something first about the whole possibility of the NFL this offseason changing the rule to so they can review pass interferences. I feel like it should be helmet to helmet. Okay, why isn't helmet to helmet not being a challengeable call? Because if the NFL is truly about safety, there should be reviewable rules for helmet to helmet because they're all Mr. Safety, for helmet hits. So that should be what's reviewable first and foremost before we even get into pass interference being a reviewable play. So getting back to this whole the Saints-Rams issue, as you all know, I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. I am not a Saints or a Rams fan, but I can relate somewhat, not nearly as much in this whole particular situation since this is the NFC goddamn championship game. Winner goes to the Super Bowl. But not too long ago, my Green Bay Packers got screwed by the Seattle Seahawks not too long ago in the Fail Mary game, as it's called. I called it the game-winning interception. Why that never took off, I don't know why. But I called it a game-winning interception game. And that was with the scab refs, of course. And that scab ref was an idiot. But this was worse. And like I said, there is multiple evidence to prove that the referees did see it. I've heard analysts say, they didn't see it. It's a fast game, yada, yada, yada. You can clearly see that the referee sees it, okay? You can clearly see these referees see it. And then there's also a back referee you can see that's right in front there. How do you not see it? According to the rules for helmet to helmet, that is something you're always supposed to check up on. There has been times where the refs have called penalties where they hit him in the shoulder, not in the actual helmet, and they'll still call the flag, and then they'll pick it up later on further discussions. Why didn't that happen? Okay, helmet to helmet is something that's supposed to be emphasized. I don't believe this bullcrap that they didn't see it, okay? That it's a fast game, that they didn't see it. There was 2 penalties that weren't called, okay? There was helmet to helmet not called. Helmet to helmet wasn't called. Pass interference wasn't called. That's 2 penalties. It's not like it was 1, it was 2. How do you miss both? How do you miss, especially helmet to helmet? Because helmet to helmet, that's the one that really stands out. Because pass interference is subjective. There's been interference calls that refs have made where it's like, it's whatever. It's not really interference, but they thought it was. And there's been others where it is, and they don't call it. There's been a lot of times where that's happened. But helmet to helmet is blatant. Especially nowadays in the NFL, the way the rules are now in the NFL, it is blatant. The guy who did it even publicly admitted it. He publicly admitted, which this guy, again, the attorney that's going to be doing the prosecuting for this suit, I don't know if this is going to go anywhere, but, he has come out and said that in the rules, there's clear evidence, and Roger Goodell can reverse this because there actually is an NFL rule where you can reverse this. by Goodell, which he explains, commissioner can do this. Of course, Goodell's not going to do it, which just proves how much of, wrong he is as a commissioner. I've been saying for years he should not be the commissioner. But everyone votes him in. All hunky-dory, we're going to, this guy continuously gets criticized every year, but, as long as he keeps the owners happy, as long as we keep getting our money, that's all that matters, not the integrity of the game, not the legitimacy of the game. There was like 5 petitions on change.org that have gotten thousands, thousands of them. Mine, of course, didn't really take off, but there's been other ones that have done really good, which I'll probably put those in the description box as well. But I don't even know if the Super Bowl is going to be good. I mean, the Rams shouldn't be there. The Rams should not be there. All right. I don't like the Patriots, so I don't even really like the Super Bowl. I don't like the teams in the Super Bowl because obviously no one wants the Patriots in, but that's just on principle at this point, other than people in Boston. But freaking or Massachusetts in general. But I mean, the Saints should be there. The Saints should be there. I firmly believe, and I don't care what anyone says, I firmly believe that the NFL planned this. I firmly believe they planned this to have the Rams win. Because the Rams are an LA market, and I've been saying for years that LA is not a football town. Look how bad the Chargers are doing there. The Chargers do not sell out their games, and when they do, it's for the road team. The road teams are cheering. Popular teams like the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys this year, when they went to the Rams Stadium, most of them were cheering for the road team. The Cowboys played the playoff game before the Saints game. There were more Dallas fans than there were Rams fans, LA Rams fans. Same with when the my Green Bay Packers went there earlier this season. More people were going there to cheer for the Green Bay Packers because the Green Bay Packers are the most popular team in the NFL, for fan base wise, and Cowboys are another popular fan base team. So when you get popular teams, because LA people cheer more for their own team than they do of the Rams or the Chargers or whoever's in there. I firmly believe they did this on purpose to put the Rams in the Super Bowl because they wanted them there. They wanted to get more fans there. And you know what? They're doing the opposite because now everyone knows they're bullshit. Okay? They're doing the opposite because everyone other than LA fans and maybe St. Louis fans, if there are still St. Louis Rams fans, since they used to be there, but I'm not sure because I'm sure they're still portrayed for them basically screwing them over. That's another thing that the NFL screwed over. The only team, or I should say the only city that actually wanted to keep their team and actually had a stadium money budget plan in place, unlike the Chargers and the Raiders, who owners didn't. They didn't give a shit. They still moved them to LA. They still moved the Rams to LA. But for any of those fan bases, those are the only people that are going to care about the Rams being in the Super Bowl. No one wants them in the Super Bowl. Anyone outside of the LA and maybe some people still in St. Louis that actually still support the team, those are going to be the only teams. Those are the only fan bases that are going to be supporting the Rams in the Super Bowl. It's kind of weird because we always see the Patriots as the villains because they are at this point, but really the Patriots are more of the good guys in this one now because I can't see anybody wanting to cheer for the Rams because I understand why. I don't want to cheer for the Rams. I don't want to cheer for the Rams. I don't even know who I want to cheer for, honestly, because I don't really like the Patriots at this point, but I don't want to cheer for the Rams because the Rams don't belong there. Period. I don't care. They don't belong in the Super Bowl. And now we're seeing, this lawsuit, which I don't know if this is going to go anywhere. I hope so. I mean, it's bad publicity. You got so many people pissed. It's going to hurt their revenue. I would not be surprised. I mean, you have all this whole, all these other issues that are going on in the NFL now, with the whole halftime show. I mean, so many people rejected the halftime show, and they just announced the halftime singers, like, during the divisional round playoffs. Like, the second round of the playoffs is when they're announcing it. Usually they have it booked by, week, 10, or even earlier than that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you already have that issue all over the place because of the, the Kaepernick stuff. I don't want to get into that stuff, but you already have that stuff going on. Okay. You have that stuff going on already, and now you have fans that did stick, for the most part, did stick with the NFL despite the Kaepernick controversy. People that did stick and were loyal, like me, I was loyal to this brand, to this NFL brand. Being a Green Bay Packer fan since I've been a Packers fan since I was 3. Okay, I've been a diehard Packers fan. Okay, and now we are seeing this bullshit being displayed where a team arguably doesn't deserve to be there because of a referee not doing his job and not getting any heat for it. I mean, not getting fined, for not making the call or not making the call. Not getting fined, not getting fired, not getting suspended. Nothing is happening to this referee. I believe his name is Bill Vinegas. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But he should be fired. I don't care. He should be fired. Gone. Finito. Never officiate again. And you know what? That might be That might be freaking harsh. But you know what? You know what's really harsh? Is that a football player who busts their goddamn freaking ass all year, training camp, preseason, regular season, work all their ass off to get to that point, to the NFC champion. I know a lot of people take it for granted with the New England Patriots getting there every year at the AFC championship game, but it's not that easy to get to the AFC or NFC championship game. It is not. It is hard as frig to get back there. Okay? It is hard to get back there. Okay? And for it to literally be ruined for an official that's supposed to do his job, not do it, and basically cost the team to go into the Super Bowl. I mean, if a team gets beat fair and square, and and the other team beats them, that's different. But when it comes down to an official not making the call that he took an oath to do as his job, as his workforce, of doing that objective, that's wrong. And the fact is you can't go back. You can't go backwards in time. A sorry doesn't cut it. The defender admitted it publicly that, he hit him, which is another thing that the, lawyer brings up, attorney brings up. They openly admit this, yet, we have video evidence of the Coleman, the defender, who did the helmet-to-helmet and the interference infraction that wasn't called, admit it. We have it publicly admitted, yet nothing's going to happen to that player, right? I mean, they can fine him, but he's a freaking millionaire, so what does it goddamn matter? You fine him, whatever. He's still going to go to the Super Bowl. The Rams are going to go to the Super Bowl. Doesn't do shit. It doesn't do shit. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous even talking about it. Like, I have never seen a worse thing than this. Like, I mean, and we have all this video evidence. Say what you guys want to say about the Immaculate Reception, because, I know there's conspiracy theories on the Immaculate Reception for decades now, but there wasn't really as much video evidence as there was back then. So you really couldn't tell, arguably. I personally think he made the catch from looking at the one, the close-up angle of it that they show. But I'm not sure about, other stuff that weren't, possibly called during the play. But say what you want to say about that, but there wasn't as much technology back then. We're in HD era, okay? We are in high definition era. We have sky cams. We have angles everywhere. There is no excuse for this not to be called. The referees are supposed to be educated. And the thing is, the referees, again, going back to the whole safety issue, the referees, that's the thing they're supposed to look out for the most. According to what the rules are, is helmet to helmet is something that is supposed to be enforced because they don't want concussions. They don't want their players getting concussed. They're trying to take that out of the game as much as possible, right? That is something that they're always supposed to be looking for. And the fact that they didn't call it, it's just unbelievable. And like I said, the Super Bowl really should have an asterisk on it, especially if the Rams go on to win. If the Rams go on to win that Super Bowl, I don't consider them the Super Bowl champions. I really don't, because they should not have been there to begin with. I'm sorry to anyone who may be Rams fans or whatever, but I can't get behind something like that. That someone is going to win because a referee didn't make the call that should have been made. And quite frankly, there could be some bullcrap call that happens in the Super Bowl. Who the frig knows? Especially if this Bill Vinovich and his freaking group of goddamn referees are freaking roughing it. I know for one thing, he's never reffing a game in New Orleans again. I guarantee it. Especially if he still somehow has a job by the end of the season. Which he shouldn't. He should be fired. For his bullcrap, they should be fined. I don't know why referees don't get fined. I mean, players get fined, for wearing the wrong shoe color. I mean, they get fined for the dumbest things, in my personal opinion. I've seen stupid reasons why they get fined. They get fined for, obviously when, they hit him in the helmet, maliciously, they get fined for that. It should be based on the ref's salary, of course, because they're not millionaires like the players are, but they should still get fined based on their salary, not necessarily the player's salary, because the players make a bunch of more money than the refs do, but they should still get fined based on the average of their salary. I said it before, they called Sean Payton, I guess, and said that they blew the call. They not only blew the call for pass interference, they blew the call for helmet to helmet. And, I feel bad for... You can tell if you've watched the press conference from Sean Payton, you can tell that he is emotional about that because he knows that game is over if they get the penalty. One of them, it doesn't even matter at that point which one that they call. He knows that game's over. They freaking, but people are like, there was a minute 45 left, right, in the game, right? And they say, well, how do you know for sure? Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this legitimately. Okay, the Rams had one timeout. Okay, they had one timeout left with the first down. Okay, they would have got an automatic first down. Doesn't even matter which one you give them. Okay. If they give them both, pass interference is a spot foul, so it would be right where it is. Roughing the helmet to helmet would have been a 15-yard penalty, but obviously it was inside the 20, so it probably would have been like half the distance, or whatever. But pass interference would have been the better penalty to have accepted because it's a spot foul. But it doesn't even matter which penalty they would have gotten because regardless, it would have been an automatic first down for both penalties. So no matter what penalty they would have accepted, it would have been an automatic first down. So first and 10 or first and goal, right? First down, they would have ran the ball. Probably got a couple yards, right? Rams would have called their timeout. They would have used their last timeout, so it would have been 2nd and 10. Probably a couple seconds would have gone off, so there would probably been like maybe a minute 40, minute 41, depending on what the Rams, depending on how long the Rams would have had the running play for. So it would have been minute 40, minute 41 left, okay? So now they've used their timeout. The Rams used their timeout, right? Their last timeout. Okay, so they have no timeouts. There's no 2-minute warning, okay? There's a 40-second play clock, okay? So 2nd and 10, they run it again, get a couple more yards, okay? There goes 40 seconds, okay? Plus whatever seconds go off when they're doing the play. So there goes 40 seconds, okay, on 2nd down. So now we're probably at like 59 seconds, okay? 3rd and 10, they run it again. Get a couple more yards. 40 minus 40 seconds, there would have been about 20 seconds left, probably. There would have been like 20 seconds left, assuming they don't get the touchdown. And they would have kicked the field goal. They would have obviously made it because they did make it the next play. So there would have been about 20 seconds left. Nothing really the Rams would have been able to do because they would have had any timeouts. They would have done a Hail Mary. Probably don't get it. Because it would have been a short time. There would have been really nothing they could have done. The game would have been over. It would have been a different situation, no overtime. Again, also that's not really counting. Also, depending on how many seconds would have gone off, during the plays that they ran. So there probably could have been a good 5 seconds. So even then, it might have been even 10 seconds left, depending on how much they ran off the play clock. So again, point being, they wouldn't have had enough time to have, gotten down the field and get a field goal to tie the game up. And that's really my point here, is that if they call that penalty, the Rams do not win the Super Bowl, period. And that's the way I look at it. There's just no way. There's just no way they win the Super Bowl. So that's what I think. It's just unbelievable that the team that should have won didn't win because of a ref. Not because of the players, but because the refs didn't do their job. And the way I look at it, and I know this is going to be kind of, using minor stuff here, but when you don't do your job, okay, and this applies really to any job, but when you do your job wrong and you do something major that screws something up majorly, what happens? You get fired, right? You get fired from that job. If you screw something up, if you work at like a, if you work in a machinery place and you're working on parts, right? Okay, and you break the part, you get fired. You get fired. Even if it's an accident, you get fired. Because that's thousands of dollars of equipment, right? That you just ruined. You get fired. That's what should happen to the ref. He has an obligational oath to officiate unbiasedly, okay? Unbiasedly, not for one team or the other, okay? It's supposed to be unbiasedly. You're supposed to be unbiased when you're a ref, okay? And he didn't have the best interest for the NFL right there, and he took it upon himself. I still believe firmly that they did this so that the Rams can have an LA market, because a lot of the popular teams that go to LA are primarily cheering for their team over the Rams, and the Chargers. The Chargers have it worse. But the Rams are still in that whole flux as well, too. And they have a $1 billion stadium coming out next year. Okay, they have a $1 billion stadium opening up in 2020. Okay, that's why they moved from St. Louis. That little cheap-ass Kroenke, okay, owner, right? He freaking moved the team because they have a $1 billion stadium being made in LA. Right now, they're in their temporary stadium until that stadium's built. Okay, they have a $1 billion investment, and they're not going to want the majority of popular non-LA teams going to that stadium like they did this year with the Packers and the Cowboys, who were primarily the majority fans in those home games in LA for the Ram games. So they don't want that. And I firmly believe that that is the reason why the Rams are in the Super Bowl. I believe they did it because they wanted them in the Super Bowl for that reason. Because you can clearly see these referees seen the play. Like, I mean, you have to be, like, blind. You have to literally not have vision in your eyes to have not seen a helmet to helmet. I mean, you say what you want to say about the interference call not being called, but to not see a helmet to helmet, which that is your number one, that's your number one thing that you're looking for as a ref. You know, seeing the ball in the air when a receiver is defenseless. That is your number one thing you're looking for. And the fact that they didn't see it, that they're claiming that they didn't see it and they just blew it, is bullshit. They seen it and they didn't call it. They were discussing it and then decided not to call it. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It is a joke, and it's ruined the integrity of the game. It really has. It really has ruined the integrity of the game. If Roger Goodell was smart, he would actually talk to the people. He would actually talk, and he would actually do it. But of course, you're not going to see Roger Goodell talk about it. You know what he's going to do? Because I know on media day, you know, they're gonna ask him. You know, you watch on media day when Goodell's there. They're gonna ask him about it. They're gonna question him about it. And you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna try to deflect the question. He's gonna deflect the question and say, "Oh, we got a big game coming up." You know, he did the same thing when the power outage happened with the New Orleans Saints. Not New Orleans, it was in New Orleans though, but against the 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens when they played in the Super Bowl not too long ago. They had the power outage, and they asked Roger Goodell what happened. He was like, "Oh, we don't want to talk about that right now. I want to talk about this game, how amazing it was, you know, and stuff like that." That is what he's going to do. He's not going to come out. He's going to just, you know, he's just going to try to deflect it. You watch. I guarantee you guys pay attention to Roger Goodell. When any of those media guys asks him these questions about the NFC Championship game because of all the stuff that's gone around it, he's going to get these questions. Guarantee you, he's going to try everything he can in his power to deflect it and just talk about the game and getting ready for the Patriots and Rams game. He's going to do everything in his power because he does not want to talk. He wants to block it away and move on. You know, this is the Super Bowl. We're done with this. You know, and people are never going to stop it. They're not going to stop it, and they shouldn't. And I'm glad they will. I'm glad they are going to keep forcing it down him. But you got to keep forcing it down him, or he ain't going to say shit. You know, he's like, "Oh, we're going to talk about this in the off season." You know, what about right now? What about you not blowing the call? Why can't you use this rule to, you know, in the interest of fairness, since the call wasn't correctly made? Why aren't you going to do that? You know. I hope they do ask him this because, I mean, the attorney brings this up. You know, Goodell has the power to, you know, change the call of the game. But he's not going to do it because Roger Goodell is gutless. He is gutless. He is freaking spineless. He will not do what's right for the league. This is why people don't like him. Okay? This is why people do not like him. I'm sorry. If I'm saying anything that's offensive to him. But this is why people do not like him. This is why people boo him every year on draft day. Because every year he gets a Roman Reigns type boo at draft day. All the time he gets it. This is why he gets it. Because people are sick of his bullcrap. They are sick of his bullcrap. They are sick of him being spineless. They are sick of him not saying anything or trying to block shit out. People are sick of this. They're sick of this. There's a reason why people respect commissioners like Pete Rozelle and frickin' who was the other one? Who was the one before Goodell? I'm trying to remember his name now. Paul Tagliabue. There's a reason why people respect these commissioners. People have been trying to get Paul Tagliabue in the Hall of Fame for a while now because he had integrity. Okay, he was not afraid to talk to people. He talked to people about this stuff. Okay, he had an understanding of people. Okay, it was the same thing with Pete Rozelle. Pete Rozelle, he had to go through the AFL-NFL war. He had to go through all this stuff. Okay, he was a commissioner from 1960 to frickin' 1989. Okay, he was the longest commissioner we ever had in the NFL. Way before my time, of course. But there's a reason why these guys are respected. Is because they were nice to the players. They didn't try to shaft the players. Like, I know a lot of people don't like Tom Brady, but look what Goodell was doing, to Brady, okay? Look what he was doing to Brady. He was trying to shaft Brady, okay? I still personally believe there was something into the whole Deflategate thing. I don't know if directly Brady was involved, but there was something that was going on with that I just didn't really like. But I don't know if it was Brady's fault, but there was some shafty shit going on, okay, in that whole thing. And in that whole thing, look what he was doing. Look what he was doing to the players. Look what he did in Bountygate. Look what he did in Bountygate. I mean, look, and for people who don't know, former commissioner Paul Tagliabue, he actually helped. He helped prove that Goodell didn't know what he was doing. Okay, look back on it. Friggin' Paul Tagliabue has been involved in a lot of these matters. Okay, and it's, since retiring as commissioner. So it's like these guys are highly respected. Pete Rozelle and Paul Tagliabue were highly respected commissioners. Okay, no one really ever attacked these commissioners. Okay, the only time Pete Rozelle was ever attacked was the whole JFK controversy, where they continued doing NFL football games, on the weekend after, the President John F. Kennedy had gotten assassinated. That was really the only black cloud Pete Rozelle had. But he was highly respected by a lot of the players. Okay, and he was in the same thing with Paul Tagliabue. These guys were highly respected, okay, commissioners for the game, and they had integrity. They had always the best interest of the players, not just the owners. Okay, Roger Goodell, he's a douchebag that only gives a shit about revenue and the owners. He doesn't care about the players. Okay, he can say all he wants about how he cares about, helmet to helmet and all this shit, but the fact that penalty was not called proves that he doesn't give a shit. And the fact that he didn't make a statement about it, a public statement about it, proves he doesn't give a shit. If he had any balls, he would make a statement about it. But he won't do that. He's just going to keep talking about the Super Bowl and how great it is or whatever and stuff like that. He'll try to block everything out. I guarantee you on media day when they can talk to the commissioner, I guarantee you he is not going to say anything about it. Or he's going to just try to block it out when someone asks a question about it. Because he knows. It was the same thing when the whole Ray Rice thing came up. He freaking tried to block that out as much as possible. He tried to do as much damage control as he possibly could. It was failing badly, but he did as much as he could. He did as much as he could to do it. He is a gutless commissioner, and that's why people do not want him as a commissioner anymore. The owners want him as the commissioner, but no one else, no fan that I know wants him as a commissioner still. No freaking media person that watches the NFL, no freaking player wants him, I don't think, as commissioner. Like, none of these people want him as commissioner anymore. Like, and we've had enough. We've had enough of him as commissioner. And he just got another extension. I want him gone. I hope he retires soon. I really do. Because I'm sick of him as commissioner. I have been through with Goodell for like 5 years now. Like, as an NFL commissioner. Like, he is not respected. No one respects him. You know what I'm saying? No one respects him. They respect guys like Paul Tagliabue and Pete Rozelle because these guys had integrity for the players. They genuinely cared about the players. I mean, it wasn't like it was all owner oriented with these commissioners. You know, they cared about the integrity of the game. And you know, I don't think they do. I do not think Roger Goodell cares about the integrity of the game. I really don't. And if he really does care about the integrity of the game, he will talk about these issues and he will actually own up to the mistake, like everyone else has so far, but not do anything about it. If he actually has balls, he'll do it. But he won't. He won't do it.